Welcome to our next live talk here in our Industrial Learning Lounge, and the topic is software-defined automation. Now, you'll get to experience the transformative impact of software-defined automation on industrial efficiency and sustainability. Join us now for a comprehensive walkthrough of this implementation in a sustainable plastic application. And you'll get to gain invaluable insights that you can immediately apply to enhance your own operations. And now please welcome with a big round of applause, Leif Jürgensen and Philippe da Silva.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Leif and I'm a global business developer for EcoStruxure Automation Expert, and I have the opportunity now to introduce to you Universal Automation. Okay. To give you a first glimpse of what we want to talk about, we are showing a short video here about the values of the future of industry and industrial automation.
Here, the lesser-spotted grabber patiently hovers into position to catch its unassuming prey. But unable to communicate with the other species in this complex ecosystem, it must rely on trial and error to complete its arduous task.
Hey, come on, this is not as easy as it looks. This loader doesn't speak my language. I speak grabber. Your database is filled with cat photos.
Fortunately, the arrival of Schneider Electric EcoStruxure Automation Expert brings peace to the once fragile ecosystem, where previously different systems all fought for their place in this chaotic environment. Now they share one common language, one grand design, one common ground to see eye to eye, sensor to sensor. Because with new EcoStruxure Automation Expert, each and everyone can make it for life.
Yeah, doesn't that sound familiar to you? Don't you sometimes feel like in a jungle in your own production? Feel trapped by all these different languages that all these different devices actually speak? And you don't have a common ground. You don't have one grand design that you actually would use to have all your devices to talk to each other. But now, at least you get a choice. Universal Automation is an organization that was founded with a very, very simple idea. Create the common ground. No more, no less. We at Universal Automation, we are really introducing and making real the idea of software-defined automation. And what does that mean? And why do we actually need that? One of the things that you guys as users really should consider is that we have a barrier of doing innovation because we don't have the right things that actually talk to each other. We are really willing to go for a software reusability that is really, really hard to implement nowadays because software that you're writing for one system does not translate to another system. And obviously, you have to manage multiple platforms in your production, multiple platforms and legacy systems that might be in your factory over decades and really messing up your opportunity to improve your operations and your sustainability goals. And last but not least, how do you attract young people? How do you get people to work for you, enthusiastic and happy to live in an environment that now is used to a technology that is based on 1968? Why not changing? Why not breaking the vendor lock? But in order to break a vendor lock, you cannot do it alone. No company can do that alone. No individual. So we have to move forward and find the people who are willing to break the lock as a community. And a shared community is what we are going to do. So Universal Automation found the right people, the right companies to play together, actually to create a control application that is vendor independent. Literally taking automation to the next level by creating code that is portable from one automation platform, from one vendor, even to another vendor, so that you even can mix infrastructures in the same application. And that will facilitate a strong reuse of software that actually allows you literally to go to a plug and produce approach. And guess what? If you introduce the mindset of the young IT people that you're finding in the universities, it's easy now to attract the right level of people with the right level of skills that we actually are looking for in our industry. All that needs to be one application that is driven by your own goals, driven by your own user specifications, but can be deployed to many different platforms from many different vendors, so that on an architecture, you actually have a choice in how you select your platforms. So the idea that we are following is that we took an existing standard, IEC 61499, as a system modeling approach, and that creates the common layer for the programming. Then around that we create a complete ecosystem of members, users and academics that play together in the membership of Universal Automation, and we build an ecosystem that thrives. For the users, there's a significant impact, because out of a sudden, you can now have a cost-efficient solution. You can have a reliable and safe offer that you can trust, because even if the one vendor drops out of the ecosystem, you will have a choice to replace by others. And even though incrementally improve the life cycle of your equipment, because you will never run out of the opportunity of replacing obsolete hardware without the impact of changing your software. And that is huge. So at the end of the day, that makes your applications and your solutions life cycle proof and ready for the future. And at the very end, one of the things that we want to do is to give system integrators the opportunity to embed their intellectual property. And instead of doing low value engineering repetitively over and over, reinventing the wheel, we give you the chance to create value-added engineering that brings sustainability goals, driving innovation to your customers. But also for the vendors who are joining Universal Automation, there's significant value in it. Because obviously, now you get growth for your own software revenues, because you're not only depending on your own hardware platforms anymore. You get access to new customer bases who are sharing with the segments that other vendors actually might thrive in, and you have now a competitive advantage that you can play, because customers can actually implement your hardware in an easy way. And absolute key to that is that we have a state-of-the-art software layer that allows also the vendors to create that specific vendor IP that really drives innovation and helps to introduce modern technology based on a software approach, and no longer just on a, sorry to say, boring ladder programming. Last but not least, in decreasing the cost and decreasing risk is essential for vendors as well. And that's something that a common platform always will help on. So at the end of the day, Universal Automation, we don't want anything more than you. We want you to join the organization. We want you to become member of Universal Automation, to feed that ecosystem of multiple vendors playing together in one big automation platform. And I'm very glad that I can hand over now to Philippe, who will give us a more of an insight in what automation expert is when Schneider takes the implementation and not only driving the software, but also being a founding member of Universal.
Thank you, Leif. So you understood now we have a common language. But how to build now with this language a new application? And so this is just to finish with Universal Automation. If you want to have the links to continue contacting Universal Automation, don't hesitate to scan and take a picture. And now we'll move to the jungle. So my name is Philippe Da Silva. I'm demo leader for EcoStructure Automation Expert. If you want to have more detailed demo, you can reach me in the booth and we can have a nice discussion. So let's move to the jungle. As discussed with Leif, it's quite complex to manage different machines in today's industry. So we can compare it with the jungle with different animals. Here the animals will be your different machines that we need to integrate together. And this machine speak different language, as you understood. So it's quite complex to make them communicate together in one ecosystem. So now the approach with Universal Automation is to create one common language to ease the integration of machine, of process in the industry. So using this common layer and common language, we will be able to integrate different kind of machine in one platform. And this platform is EcoStructure Automation Expert. So we'll speak all the same language so that it becomes really transparent to integrate any machines. So you don't care about the communication behind, your machine will do the job. So let's see a deep dive in what is a machine inside Automation Expert. So maybe you know today it's quite complex to design an application. You are using multiple software, different kind of environments. So you develop your control logic in one software, you develop your HMI in another software, you develop your SCADA in another software again. So a lot of knowledge to manage, different profile of engineers for each kind of software. So it's quite complex to make all of them work together. You need to manage communication, all of this. So it's lots of engineering efforts that you need to do in order to maintain your standard ecosystem. And with Automation Expert, we combine everything together in one object, what we call a composite automation type. So this object will be composed of all the different aspects of that you need inside your system. You will have your logic, your HMI, your SCADA, everything will be connected together inside one object. So that when you reuse this object, you will automatically generate all these different facets inside your automation. So we increase the engineering efficiency by 20 to 30% in some cases for the different customers. Now it helps also to standardize your objects so that you create a common standard and you can reuse into all your different engineering. Once you have created your objects, now you can define the library, create objects for all your different assets, and it becomes really transparent to create your application. It's just a drag and drop. You take your object, you connect it to the second one, and you create your full solution. And as you understood, we are hardware independent. We are talking only about software here, because you can use any hardware behind. And this is thanks to this common language that we have created with Universal Automation. So now you are free to select the hardware that you want in order to do the control of your system. You create the application, and after you distribute your object into the different devices. So you can use Schneider Electric PLCs with also now a speed drive that can embed a part of your application. You can use also third-party PLC with, for example, here Phoenix Contact, but it can be Stahl and other vendors that will join Universal Automation. And we have also the new virtual controller, what we call a soft DPAC. This virtual controller can run into any Linux or Windows PC. So it can go to a small Raspberry Pi, for example, an IPC, a server, a data center, and even on the cloud. So your application can be distributed into this virtual PLC. So it's the industry now become really open and flexible so that you can select your hardware independently from your software. And tomorrow, for example, let's say that you want to change and replace one equipment, you can keep your application and after select another compatible hardware that is in this ecosystem of Universal Automation. So with this, we break the vendor lock approach that we have today in the industry. It becomes an open software-defined automation so that you put your knowledge inside your application and you can use any hardware behind. So hope you get high-level values of this new approach of the automation. And if you're interested to have more information, we are in all the different zones of our booth today. So you can find several demos targeting several use cases. For example, in packaging and warehouse, we have a specific demo where we combine Automation Expert with a visual inspection use case with a Cognex camera and a collaborative robot. So we have a nice machine just behind. In the same zone also, we have augmented reality with automation expert. How we can improve the simulation and the operation training with augmented reality and using automation expert. Here in this area, we have also a bioprocessing machine where you can see a live running machine with automation expert and combined with ProLight also offer where we can manage batch processes. Here in this part, in the chemical area, we have also a nice panel that combines these different offers that you have seen, where we mix Schneider Electric products, but also universal automation devices inside one demo machine. If you are interested also about universal automation, there is a specific booth here dedicated to give you more information about the organization. And after in water, where we have also a wastewater treatment plant here, where you can see how automation expert can bring value in this water segment, combining power and process in order to improve the efficiency of your system. And here in the facility zone, we have a success story with a customer called Willow, where we develop a green hydrogen plant with automation expert and also energy offer of Schneider Electric called microgrid. So hopefully you get the idea of this new open approach that brings engineering efficiency, operational effectiveness, and future-proof to maintain your system during this entire life cycle. So thank you. Don't hesitate if you have any question. We are here to answer.